Good afternoon or good morning, everybody, from Davide from Tokyo. It is a rainy Tokyo today. We're in the middle of the rainy season, so this is expected. Nothing creative in this. Okay, as Italians, we are famous for being creative and inventive. We come up with solutions at any given moment, especially when there is a crisis. And even more so, not just solving sudden problems, but when we use our creativity in planning a campaign or a strategic marketing solution for a client. We are known worldwide. But where do we get this from? In a country like Japan, I've been in Japan for 20 years, people literally look at us like if we had this gift from God, when, for example, there's a problem, a sudden problem during an event, or when we come up with ideas that for them would require months of planning, they really look at us like, how did you get this? Why are Italians so creative? But is this really a gift from God? Why do we Italians have this peculiarity that is well known worldwide, as I said before, not just in solving problems, but also in creating added value for a brand or for a pop star. So today we will talk about this. And to talk about this, we have invited one of Italy's top creative agency, the Sugarkane. They are behind the creation of iconic pop stars like Achille Lauro, the most recent one, but also Jovanotti, Marrone, Battiato, Laura Pausini, or of course, successful campaign for brands like Dolce&Gabbana, Gucci, Premiata, Adidas. Okay, I would like to officially introduce Leandro, Manuel, Emede, and Nicolo Cerioni from the Sugarkane. Guys?
Hello, everyone.
Hi, how are you?
How?
Nice
Where are you right now?
We're actually in the countryside in an area called Le Marche, where actually I was born and raised, and we're gonna spend our summer here while working. We are lucky enough to have a small office here. Connection is not the best, as you can see, but
no
it's
problem.
nice.
We can hear very well. We can see you very well. Okay, so should we start from the beginning? And the beginning is literally you, Leandro, and Nicolo. Who is Leandro? Who is Nicolo? And who are the Sugarkane?
I'm Nick. Yes, everybody calls me Nick, so it's easier for everyone abroad.
So, would you like to introduce yourself? To give us some details about yourself.
So, yeah, I'm Nick Cherione. I started out as a fashion stylist, and I did all my studying course in Milan. I studied fashion there, fashion and communication, and I basically started out as a fashion stylist. I wanted to work first on the let's say like the magazine world. Fashion magazine used to be at least 15 years ago, something very important. They were still very relevant. They still are, but I think they just lose a little bit of their glamour aura they used to have. But I wanted to work there, but I wasn't really feeling that it was my way. And I always had like huge passion for music and entertainment in general. So basically, I wanted to join those two passions of fashion and entertainment to work on the entertainment business, uniting the fashion. So I started out as a fashion stylist on the TV network called MTV. I think you all know.
Of course.
MTV. MTV used to be very big in Italy. We used to have like at least 3 live shows a day back in the days. Now it became like the American MTV. I'm sorry. Sorry, it's allergies for flowers. And so I started working on MTV, and then I started to work also some music shows like The X Factor and other shows talent show became very big and very popular. So I started working like on those TV shows, and then suddenly MTV started to, I don't want to say close down because it still exists, but to become something different. They still don't have right now music anymore, and they don't have like live shows or programming. They just have reality shows. So we basically was we were useless basically as a fashion team for MTV. So I started to work with some musicians, but nothing big. Then I met Leo. He will introduce himself, but then we have this idea of opening a studio, a creative studio, where we can take care of all the imagery that is around an artist. So our main idea was basically, we call a record company, for example. We speak with an A&R and say, listen, we are two creatives. I'm a fashion stylist and art director. Leandro is a well-known photographer and director because he used to work with Oliviero Toscani, and I think we will speak more about that. Oliviero Toscani, if you don't know him, or maybe the name doesn't recall anything, Oliviero Toscani is, I think personally, the greatest communicator in pop culture we have in Italy. He was famous and infamous for some for his controversial Benetton campaigns.
Yeah.
And Leo, you want to say something about working with him?
Yeah, well, my path is kind of similar of Nicolo's one. I always wanted to do a director and somehow also a photographer. I think to be a photographer and to be a director in the way we do it is kind of similar, because we don't, our approach to photography is always not like, if we have to do like an editorial or a fashion shoot, we always think about the story behind it. So our pictures are never like studio pictures where the only thing that matters is the clothes, but we always try to give to the picture a story behind it. So for me, to be a director and to be a photographer is kind of the same. One, you have only one shot, and the other one you have 25 shots per second. So you have to, you can tell about the story a little bit more, but it's kind of the same for me. So yes, I always wanted to be a director, and in 2006 I started working with Oliviero Toscani at his factory in Pisa, and I worked with him for 6 years, kind of, or 5 years, and I was head of video department there, and so all the commercials and all the video projects we were doing with him. I was on top of them. That was very exciting for me because, you know, I was like in my 20s, and to be head of department of such a big studio was really amazing for me. And I learned a lot from him.
So sorry, Nick said that he's from Le Marche, actually, where you are based right now. And yourself, you were born in Argentina, right?
I born in Argentina. I born in Buenos Aires. Even if my mom is from Italy, she born in Venezia, and where my grandfather used to paint a lot of the scenes of a lot of Luchino Visconti and Orson Welles movies, because before Cinecittà was built, a lot of the movies were filmed in Venice at the Scalera Films, that were a big, super huge studio theater, you know, where films are filmed. So my grandfather used to work there, and he worked with a lot of great artists. Then Scalera Film was burned, and they made Cinecittà in Rome. So, but that's another story. So my mother born in Venice.
When did you come to Italy?
I came to Italy in 1994. I was 14 years old, and so I spent now already more of half of my life in Italy. So I kind of Italian, but yes, I born in Argentina, and I came here, and I started actually studying cinema in Pisa, in Tuscany. But then I quit the university to work with Oliviero, and that was my I think my biggest school. And I learned everything from him by looking at him, because he's not the person that teaches you nothing. I mean, he's not telling you have to put the light this way. No, I was so fortunate to be with him 24 hours a day, and I could stole from him a lot of things by looking at him. Sto dicendo in italiano.
He doesn't actually stole.
It makes perfect sense.
No, I stole the method, you know. And yes, so but after 6 years, I said, okay, now it's time to do my thing. I don't want to be like an assistant anymore, because that was the Oliviero Toscani studio, of course. With whom I still work with him nowadays in a different way, of course. But so after 6 years, I said to Nick, let's do something together. I mean, you have some skills, I have other skills. Let's put them together and let's create something unique. Because in Italy, a studio like ours doesn't still exist.
Yeah, we were actually very unique. So that's why at first when we we opened up our little studio and we went knocking on the door of all the record companies. We were like rejected from everyone, because everyone used to say, listen, I think something like your reality is never gonna exist. We don't need like one studio doing everything. We already have like few directors that actually do videos for everyone. We have few photographers. We're done with that. We're happy with this. So we were like, well, we still think that there was like an opening about like how to think different for an artist to present himself, to dress, to communicate, to do a music video, but we weren't like listened. So we actually left, and I'm gonna make it a long story short. We left for LA, where Leo had to do like a master at the USC for music video production. And while we were there, we learned that Jovanotti, that is actually I think the most amazing artist we have in Italy, always evolving. He used to, for who doesn't know, Jovanotti used to be like a teen idol in the 80s. Then he evolved in this hugely successful pop star. Super cool. He's in his 50s right now, but looks very young and is like monumental in Italy. So it was a monumental at the time. Actually, we met him in LA. But yeah, we were. It was the first artist. Actually, it was the first artist who believed in us, because we sent him a tweet on Twitter saying, "Listen, we saw that you're gonna do some small shows in LA. What about if we film it and then we edit it and then we give it to you? If you like that video, you can publish it. No matter what, we don't want money. If you don't like it, you can throw it away." He actually replied 5 minutes later saying, "Okay, let's meet." So we started shooting the 2 shows he had, like a small documentary. We give it to him right after we shoot. We actually edited like during a night time, because Lee was very good at editing. So he was actually enthusiastic about it. And they say, "Listen, guys, I see a lot of potential of your work. I really love what you do. Next year, I'm going to make like a video, a new album. And I want you to do the video of my tour, like the live video." That we had to say that at the time, like 10 years ago, doing a video of a live tour was a big deal, because usually they made DVDs out of it, and it was the big selling thing in Christmas time, which is like the time where records and DVDs were selling the most. So we were like, maybe it's just saying that it's never gonna happen. Oh my God, well, I don't know what's gonna happen to us, but let's see. So we go back to Italy. Leo started to do some jobs. I started working at Prada. Then actually he called. He actually called. So I fired myself from, I fired myself from Prada in a very funny way because I went to the HR office and said, listen, I quit. And they say, why? Why are you quitting? We're the #1 fashion company in the world. You're beloved here. We're really happy with your work. And I say, no, listen, I have to quit because I have to go tour with Jovanotti. They were like, okay, you're crazy. You can go. And so I left Prada, which was like, a lot of people thought I was really crazy because it was a very good position there. And I learned a lot there, and I had the chance to work with some amazingly creative people, but I left for my James. So we went to tour the Jovanotti, and that's where we not only filmed the video, but Nodi asked us to do also the costumes from his band. It was something that nobody did it. I mean, he wanted to dress his band as superhero characters, but like very cool, very edgy in a way. So I designed some costumes. He was very happy with it. So I started styling him. You know, in the first music video that we did, that it's called La Notte dei Desideri, which caused a sensation because it was like a very, very, very low budget video shot just with a very small camera. But he had like 19 costume changes because it was kind of dreamy. Yeah. And I think I did maybe the best research I did in my entire career. New designers that became bigger years after, and some very edgy couture pieces. It was very crazy. Every single magazine in Italy talked about it. It was like everybody was saying, "Wow, that's a fashion research. That's some fresh stuff." So I think that was the beginning of everything. We're still working with Jovanotti, and I think we'll never thank him enough because he actually was the first person to believe in us. Not only that, but he allowed us to create our studio because after him, like a lot of celebrity came. And I think we did a lot of other celebrities, and the most important was Laura Pausini. It's very big in Italy, but it's hugely famous in Latin America and actually in the US too. So we had the chance to work with the Latin market, which we love, not only because Leo has some big Latin heritage, but also because we think that it's some very creative and unique market now, because a lot of our Latin artists are doing very, very amazing things right now. And I personally think, but also Leo thinks, that it's really groundbreaking what they're doing right now. Yeah. So then that's how we started. And I think what we always propose to people and what we are called for is our uniqueness, bravery, because we did some brave thing, which sometimes led to success, sometimes led to hugely huge critics toward us, but it's fine because we love to divide the opinion. We love to be controversial, and I think in this particular time where we live in, very strange, we need to wake up in a way, the people that are watching our words, and not just working to make them feel comfortable, because we do think that art should not make you comfortable.
Obviously, I mean, you said, Leandro, that you quit university to pursue something else, and that was your first quitting. And then you, Nick, you quit your job with Prada to pursue something else. So sometimes quitting is not losing. Sometimes quitting is a way to step ahead and do something that really pertains to your inner soul, which is brave, but it's also maybe something you feel compelled to do because you have no other choice. Maybe because you have goals that you want to achieve, you have a dream, or you have something urgent that needs to be, fed. So, but as a milestone, I mean, you started with Jovanotti, which is in Italy, it's huge. So great. That was your first kickoff pop artist.
Yeah.
And then Laura Pausini came. When do you think that, because, you know, many other agencies already start, but when did you have the feeling that your job and the Sugarkane was starting being consolidated? So not just, you know, the first good luck job, but you started creating content that had value and persistent value. When did this feeling come to you?
Well, it's a hard question to answer because we still not feeling like consolidated just because I think the Italian market never lets you feel consolidated. But at the same time, we do feel consolidated in a way that people knows who we are and knows what we do. I mean, we're very, I think controversial is the perfect word for us because there's people that is afraid of what we do, the people that really loves what we do, the people that hates what we do. And when we started to have this kind of different emotion towards us, I think we started to realize that we were at least in the radar.
Something was happening.
Yes. And we see right now that everybody that is calling us, all the artists that calling us or the companies, they never ask for plain stuff or usual stuff or I don't know, like the normal jobs. They always ask for different, groundbreaking, risky, edgy. They always want to risk with us, which I think is a thing that not everybody has because it puts you in a danger zone.
Yeah. But this is because from our first job, let's say again Jovanotti, since he already told you the story, but he's actually our first biggest job. From that first video we did, we were 100% ourselves. So we didn't say, okay, Jovanotti call us, let's do something like he's doing, that he was doing,
yeah.
Or let's do something that it reminds what we see on TV. No, we said, let's do something as we want to do it. Let's not copy anybody else. So since our first job, we said, this is us. And we had the chance to say it in the biggest way possible with Jovanotti.
Yeah.
So people calling us right now, they already, I mean, who called us already knows our story and our jobs. And it happens that when you go on a set for the first time with a new client and start talking and so in the afternoon, they start telling you, I love that video because it reminds me a lot of blah, blah, blah. So I think that's the moment when you realize you are doing something important, where when people start remembering at your videos, at your pictures, like the cover albums you did.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that I think that's important.
They always want to be iconic.
You can do one picture a day, but if you do 365 pictures and there is not just one that catch the eye of somebody else, your work is just trash, you know?
You just mentioned now iconic. What is iconic for you?
I think iconic is something that really leaves an impression in the pop culture and at every level, like low level and high level. I mean, my latest job that I did, like the art direction and styling for the performance that Achille Lauro did at Sanremo Festival, I think is iconic, just because we did something out of the comfort zone for the people that usually watch Sanremo. For who doesn't know Sanremo is like the Italian version of the Grammys, but it lasts like 5 days. It's a competition, but actually something that really catalyzes the entire nation for 5 days. Everybody just watching that. So what we did with Lauro is to, I think, to I don't know, to be very precise on what we did. We arrived like very ready for everything. We thought for each night, one for each night, that were very strong. In the first one, he was representing St. Francis, and he was taking off his beautiful cape made by Gucci, and he had almost nothing underneath, and it was like, everybody was like, it's impossible that something is doing that. So we were, but as Leo said, what we really like to do is to never just stop at the appearance, but to put a lot of significance, a lot of meanings at everything we do. Just a picture of a styling maybe, or just a fashion editorial for us as a meeting, and we want to communicate this meaning. And I think it's crucial right now for art. And I think that there is a lot of examples actually in the fashion industry right now. If I think about the case history of Gucci, from where Alessandro Michele became the creative director, Alessandro Michele, I think it was genius in what he did, because not only is a great fashion designer, but everything he did, there was a message between the lines. And even if you buy like a pair of cool sneakers, you know there is a story behind it. And I think what's to make the difference right now, to have culture of what we do, to be able to read the messages that are in things. If there are no messages, I think things are useless. That's what the fashion business, for example, I think needs to go through right now in this hugely difficult crisis we live right now in fashion, like with the COVID, with uncertain times. I think if something live without, and it's gonna fade somehow. But if we put inside a single clothes, storyline, or also a great manufacturing, or something really rich in the meanings, it can be revolutionary right now, and it can work, and you can make money out of it. Because when people says that you cannot make money out of culture, I think is something very unreal, and something is a lie. I mean, it's culture is part of everything we do, even pop culture, even I don't know, movies, comics. I mean, if we talk about Japan, I think we are deeply in love with the country, not only for its beauty and its nature and everything, but for all the art that Japan knew how to spread with the world. And we were very deeply inspired by all the fashion, the Japanese art. We are big readers of manga. We love the cinema. We love the story of the culture. And
so since we are speaking of cultures, and because you live in Italy and you mainly work with Italians and for Italians, how is the situation at the moment in Italy, and what does it mean to work for Italy within the creative industry?
Well, it's not easy for sure, because I mean, we have a great history of culture here. I mean, everything is history. You turn around the corner and you see amazing monuments and history everywhere, churches and things. But at the same time, unfortunately, I don't want to say aware, but not really. They don't put enough value in culture. We have a lot of problems with schools. We have a lot of problem of people thinking, as I said before, that culture is not important for. At the end of the day, I mean, you're not eating out of your culture. If you're reading a book, it's not gonna be useful to make a salary out of it. But it's actually not true. And I can speak for ourselves. I think culture for us was crucial for everything we did. And I think that if we still are working and successful in what we do, because fortunately we are, I think we owe everything to the culture we have, and to always being evolving and always being reading new stuff and studying new stuff and discovering new stuff. I think it's crucial, but we cannot say that we're not living in a time where culture is at risk, or at least it's considered not essential, which is actually is.
Yeah, I mean, culture, even in the most simple way, you know, you have always to have your eyes super open and your ears super open too, and you have to try to see and to listen to everything that happens around you, and then put it out in the right moment with your own vision of it. So culture, I think, also in this way, I mean, it's not only reading a book. Of course, it's important to read the book, but, you know, also to talk to people, to understand more about something, and to do a mix of everything you listen to and you see, and yeah, and try to have the tools to understand what you see and what you hear and what you feel, and to deconstruct it and put it out in your way. I think that's the important thing.
Sure. So culture, as you just said, culture is one of your main source of inspiration. Is good for you. So, what do Nick and Leandro eat? I mean, what nourishes you the most out of all the cultural universe, which is humongous? I mean, inspiration can come from really, literally everything and anything.
Yeah, everything. I mean, we are. I mean, he's a big books reader. I'm more into graphic novels because I love to see more aesthetic things.
I mean, we read a lot of mangas.
Yes, we look a lot of television, even if
TV shows or
yeah,
anything. Yeah,
sometimes people are afraid when you say I watch television, because television is like the devil here in Italy. I don't know why, but of course we work with television, so so we watch television. Yeah. We watch Netflix and Amazon and Apple Plus and everything. We go to the cinema when we can. When we go to some cities, we go to museums. We go to see exhibitions. You know, everything that usually people everyone should do. You know, I think. Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't happen because you know. But I think we are not doing nothing special. I think we have the tools, as I said before.
But in a way, it's special because people doesn't really read a lot, or they don't even go to the movies a lot. I mean, the cinema industry is in a hard position right now, and it's so I think we should not take for granted that all the people is doing what we do.
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, it should. That's why it should be special. Not nothing special, but it is actually. I mean, that's what we are doing. That's what.
I mean, it's okay to watch television. It's not okay to only watch television. So you know,
of course. But you know, sometimes people that I don't watch television because why you don't watch television? Of course, you have to watch television.
I mean, it depends. I think that you cannot do just one thing in these times. I mean, we live in a very multitasking era where you need to be informed in every way you can. Reading the papers, reading the book, watching television, watching social media, see everything that happens on the internet. I mean, everything is very connected right now, so you cannot really understand one thing without understanding the other, I think.
No, but I think the most important thing in everything you do is try to look on the other side, no? So everything you see, try to understand what you are watching at, what you are looking at. It's like, you know, when you go into a church here in Italy, you can see amazing paintings, but don't stop just at what you're seeing, what you're looking at. Try to think, what does it mean know, what the artist wanted you to understand out of what you're seeing. So
when I opened up, I said that you know, as Italians, we are known worldwide for our creativity. Okay, so once we all agree that this is a skill that as Italians have, okay, do you agree with this to start with? Do you agree that so a question that I'm often asked here in Japan, which I found really, really difficult to answer, is why are Italians so creative? And so maybe within this, Leandro, you could also give us your double cultural impression. Like you've been able to compare Argentina or South America in general with Italy. What do you think is the trigger that makes us Italian a little bit more creative?
So Argentinians are kind of Italians, so they are not a good they are not a good comparison culture or country. So what can I tell you is that when I study in the United States or when we go to work there, what we see is that, for example, here in Italy, or when I'm doing a video, when we are doing a video, if we see something that we don't, we take it off, or we move the lights, or we ask to the actor, to the singer to move around. In the United States, for example, it's not like this. If you don't like the light, you have to tell the DOP you don't like the light, and he's going to move it out of the scene. If you don't like a prop, you have to tell the prop designer, I don't like that thing in the wall. Can you take this off? So what can I say is that Italians has this natural and organic way of work that we are on everything, on top of everything. We can do everything in the same time. I mean, not everybody, but I mean,
we're problem solvers.
We are problem solvers. Yes. Yeah. That's the key, I think.
Yeah,
because,
I think sometimes
you can twist a problem to a. I think that's the key.
What do you think, Nick?
I think the same. I mean, I think we have a cultural way to be problem solvers in a way that you always need to have your brain ready to invent new solution. And that brings you to always think what you can do, how you can do it better, how can you solve something in a very good way, even if all the odds are against you. So I think we are very always thinking about things to do, to solve, to maybe have another road to go around the problem and then solve it. And I think not many countries used to think like this, because usually, and especially where there are countries that they're very professional, like, I mean, for us with our professional experience, like Americans, they're really squared in the way they think. I mean, you need to do one thing and do it at your best.
Yeah.
You work hard, you succeed. That's usually the path you're going through for your career. If you work hard, you succeed, for sure. Here it's not like that. You can work really harder than anybody, but you don't succeed. And you see people that doesn't work hard enough to succeed just because they were smarter than you, because they made better choices than you, because they had, like, I don't know, connections better than you. So you always have to fight for succeed and always find a new way to be better than the other one, have a better connection than the guy, have like better way to solve than the guy, and then come first than the guy that has better connection than you. Believe in luck, and I think luck is like a huge part of everything we do, a job, or I mean, destiny, luck, God, or whatever you want to call it.
I think there is Pablo Picasso said that creativity exists, but it has to find you working. So, I mean, you have to always you have to do always something, and that's how creativity, when it comes, the genius moment. If you are doing something you can put it on what you're doing, and that's how a good job is always coming out, you know. Yeah. I think that's the thing. If you do only a small thing, you cut a lot of the branches of your big tree, you know.
So guys, I want to introduce you. I introduce you as a duo, right? So an agency made up of two people. Is there anybody else except you, or is just the two of you?
No, we have people working for us,
Yeah.
but we are.
You're my assistants and guys that works for Leo.
But still, it's a small.
Helping him out,
It's a small
like on
agency.
editing and on stats. It's a super small agency. Yeah. Yes, we were very light, just to move faster than anyone.
Okay.
That's the funny thing. Sometimes when we arrive to do a shoot or something, you know, big agencies arrive with 100 people doing nothing, basically. We go there with just a few things we have to do, very focused, we work, and then we go away.
When I started working just to do like a shoot for like an, I don't know, an album cover, I remember there was like 1,000 person on the set. Nowadays, it can be like 2. And I think we were the first one in our business to say that you didn't have to show up like all the power you have just bringing like 1,000 person, but just go there with professionality and your talent and your story. Yes. So I think why we feel here.
So let's say that you go to a client, potential clients, and you talk. You have a briefing session with a client. What happens next? How do you plan and work within the two of you?
It really depends on what kind of the client. I mean, music business, which is like maybe bigger for me, and for Leo is bigger the company ones. Usually for the music, I have like talents calling, say, listen, I saw your work with, I don't know, Achille Lauro, Jovanotti. I do love your vision. I want you to take care of my art direction style. And I want Leo to do the pictures. So we meet with the guy or with the staff. We were lucky enough to always being looked for by the talents, and it's actually very, very unusual in Italy, because usually the A&R of the record company or the management's calling you. We always had artists calling us first and then say, okay, I want you, I'll give you your number to my agent, they're gonna call you. And that's why we are actually kind of, I don't want to say feared, but a little bit yes, because even if record company people doesn't really like us, we really show up in a way.
It's not that it doesn't like us, but they try to do low risk productions.
Yeah.
So and they know that when we arrive, we are doing usually something that will move a little bit the ground.
Yeah, like weird,
so,
or
you know, if you have a small budget for an artist and you don't want to risk, maybe you are not calling us, but maybe the artist is calling us. So that's the big deal for the A&R.
Yeah, so what we do is we meet with the artist. We're speaking about what we want to do, what we want to communicate, what's the project like. I mean, if it's a record about, I don't know, love or politics or I don't know, something, then we start thinking about the ideas and doing a mood board, and then finding inspiration, and we create like a mood board, and then we go back to them and say, listen, I think your project will be amazing if we do these kind of bits with this kind of styling, thinking about like this issue maybe that can relate to your record. And then we go, if he likes it or she likes it, we go on the ground. I'll call the fashion companies, I'll go select items. Leo is starting preparing the sets and how to photograph for that.
Yeah, this is the process. But I think, tell me if I'm wrong, that all the magic happens on set when you are there with the artist and you put maybe the music of the new album and you start talking while he or she is doing the makeup, and you start talking about the project, and all the magic starts there. You can talk for 1 month, and then maybe on set you are doing really something different, and maybe something is more focused on what he needs. So, I mean, you can prepare a lot of things, but everything is going to happen there in that moment when you are there creating. Because when you have an artist in front of the camera, sometimes you are not allowed. Not allowed. I mean, you are not telling to an artist, sit down there. Going to say, I would love to see you there, and you ask him or to sit or to stay. He has to feel comfortable because he's an artist. He's not a product. He's an artist. So everything is going to happen there. Nothing is going to come out as you imagined the night before. Everything is coming out, the most of the times, more beautiful, more interesting. The last cover we did with Jovanotti, it was the cover of the album, an album called Lorenzo, that is his real name, On the Moon, because it's an album with all the songs about the moon. So we prepare for a lot of days talking about the moon, the astronaut, this and that. What we came out was a totally different photo shoot. We did like a photo shoot, like an astronaut from the future that came from the past. So everything was super crazy, but we didn't study that before. Everything came up there, talking up with him and thinking about how we can develop these pictures. I took with an old camera, so everything is happening there. So the beautiful thing of working with artists is that you actually create something new.
Okay, so we have 10 minutes to go. So while I ask if people that are following us from home have any question that they can ask through the web chat, I would like to ask one question. If there is an artist that you still haven't worked with and a brand that you haven't worked with, among those, which artist and which brand would you like to work with? And what message would you like to give through this artist and through this brand?
Well, personally, I don't know if I speak with some hugely successful Latin artists, especially if I have to say just one name. I think I'd love to work with Rosalia, which I think it's an amazing, great songwriter, performer, and not only, I think she's the face of an amazing, beautifully project about roots. Just to bring your roots to a place where they became very modern. I mean, she's used to be a flamenco singer and performer. Yeah, they contaminated the flamenco with the trap, and then she became kind of a reggaeton artist. I mean, it's very, very fine line between modernity and cultural richness of the country where she came from, which is Spain. So I'd love to work with Rosalia to bring it to another level. And
I agree, but I think that instead of working with something already known and that to jump on his word, I would say that I would love to have someone that came to us and said, I have this, help me put it on a highest level, on a bigger world of imaginary or whatever. So I would say that I would love to work with a new artist that maybe becomes huge, no?
Okay, we have a question about artists, which is, which Japanese artists would you like to work with? And what does Italian creativity have to learn from Japanese creativity, and the other way around? This is a question to both of you.
We have an open project, finished it yet, but we started a documentary about Akira Sorayama, that is the artist that invented the sex robots. That you can see now one in the Dior boutique. There is one huge really beautiful. He's the guy doing all these crazy, beautiful woman robots with woman bodies, and his gallery is Nanzuka in Shinjuku, and there is a permanent exhibition of him. We started a documentary with him, so I hope we can finish it sometime, someday. It's a big project, so we are actually.
Leandro is just saying that he's gonna finish it in the year we are in. So in 2021, it's gonna be ready, right?
Yes.
We do love a lot of Japanese art. I mean, it's like I do love all the well, a lot of mangakas. Like, I mean, I grew up with Rumiko Takahashi books, and also Masakatsu Katsura. Video Girl Lie is my all-time favorite manga. Naoko Tateuchi with Sailor Moon, huge influence for me. I also have a tattoo here of Sailor Moon, so big fan. And I do love the work of the costume designer Michiko Kitamura, and also the great, amazingly, hugely talented, that passed away, Eiko Ishioka. That was like, to me, was groundbreaking. Just to see her work through the silver screen, I can't imagine to work with her. It's like huge inspiration.
And in music, we love Miyabi,
Yeah.
a guitar player. He's amazing. We love. We have a Nana that is super cool.
We also love all the super cute Japanese like idols like Chiari, Pamiu. I mean, we do love everything there. Like Akihabara 48. Yeah, huge. We have a Japanese friend who's always sending us new stuff. So it's, yeah, we're very up.
You're very specific about Japanese culture. So coming to the same question, the second part. Yeah. So what do you think as Italians can learn from Japan in terms of creativity and the other way around?
To me, I think what I do really love about Japanese culture that I would love to also have it in the Italian culture is that in the part to have this hugely amazing sense of cleanness, in general, graphically, you know. But at the same time, I adore the very weird taste they have in telling stories.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sometimes what you feel on watching or reading or listening to is that they are, when they do art, they are free. I mean, they don't have boundaries.
Yeah, there's something very liberating in what they do. Yes.
They are free to say and think whatever they want, and something that you can't find in people while you're talking to people, because people are very educated and very respectful. So, but when you see art, they are really on another level.
Yeah. Totally.
Okay, we have another 4 questions. I won't follow the chronological order, but Eleonora is asking, maybe you answered already part of this, any new project you are working on and want to give us an exclusive preview
of? We're working on, well, we have a shooting that we actually, it's very small, where we worked on this shoot for a fashion magazine from Spain called Fucking Young, which actually I think came out very good. It's a super small project, but we did the project inspired by the figure of Antino that used to be Imperial Adrian lover.
This is an example of how a fashion editorial is made with a meaning inside of it and with a storyline. We are not just taking picture of the final look, you know, the shirt, the trousers, and the shoes. The picture, something else. Maybe if you look at it, you can go and start having information about it. But you give you the thing. So this is an example for
So we did that just like last week, yes. And we have some new bands and musicians coming on board of our studio, which we cannot say because they're pretty big, but it's going to be a new project that I hope is going to be good because I do love that band. So I think it can be amazing. We have.
So what he's saying is, stay in touch.
Yes, we have a lot of stuff coming with Achille Lauro, which is great. Jovanotti is writing, I think, new stuff, new music, so he's a little bit still right now, but we do have a lot of projects, yes, but no exclusive preview. I'm sorry.
So Chiara is asking, what is the perception of or appreciation of Japanese fashion from Europe, as seen from Europe?
I adore it. I mean, it's like, yes. I mean, I think it's the epitome of what Japanese art is for us. I mean, what we said about, in one hand, being very clean and minimalistic and very sophisticated in a way, but at the same time having this very weird sense of things. So something can be masculine, feminine, and futuristic and antique in a way. I mean, I think Comme des Garçons is the ultimate, I think, fashion brand in Japan. I mean, it's my favorite of all the time. I think I do work at Miyake. Rei Kawakubo to me is like beyond genius. She's art. She's like, I mean, fashion that you don't know what to expect from them, which is something very unusual in the fashion business, because I do know what to expect from Chanel or from Gucci or from, I don't know, Balenciaga. But with Japanese, it's not like this. And also when you walk around in Japan.
Yeah, also workwear is amazing.
Yeah, workwear is gorgeous, and all the crazy people in, I don't know, in Harajuku, and all the super chic person in, I don't know, somewhere else. But it's like Roppongi. I mean, we love Japanese fashion. I mean, and I think from Europe, you have a sense of elegance that is very out of our comfort zone, but the elegance is always there. Even in the craziest Comme des Garçons outfit, there is elegance.
Yeah.
In the craziest fashion in Europe, there is no elegance, but for purpose. I mean, it's like, it can be outrageous, it can be sexy, it can be creepy, it can be nude,
but no elegance.
But no elegance sometimes.
In Japan, you have elegance. Also, there's jeans, jeans trousers with print, but it's elegant.
Okay, we have another two questions that are a bit more technical, and somehow they kind of relate. One is from Alex, and he's asking, how do you handle conflicts with artists when the artist wants to intervene with your work in a way that you do not agree with?
Well, that's a big question. I mean, we all are Latin in a way, I think, as Italians and as Latin American. And I think we put a lot of passion in stuff, and we put also a lot of passion in conflicts. It happens a lot of time that you have an artist say, no, I want to do it my way, and my way is like this, you have to do it like this. You have in front of you, if someone you can talk with, and you can try to work your way through the things to put your vision and his vision to a union in a way, and then go in a same direction, but in two different, I don't know, roads. I think you can do it, and we are actually very good to being very political about it.
But one thing, one important thing is that there is no my vision, your vision. There is the vision of what you are doing. So the important thing is to sit down with the artist and tell him, okay, tell me your point of view, and I tell you mine. And if you are working with a real artist or with a real brand that knows a little bit about how it works, sometimes you don't have to fight or to discuss. You just can find when you're talking with a person that it happens to be a singer, there is where you find a real problem.
Yeah, and also it happened a lot of times. No, there were not a lot of times where it happened, but we had arguments with artists that just was being, I won't say offensive, but in a way, yeah, offensive for our job, and we actually quit working with them. It happened to me last year. A new artist that is becoming to work actually to be continually. I after the first feeling, I called his agent and I say, listen, I don't want to see him anymore. Don't even think about calling me. And bye bye. And it happens. I mean,
Okay.
it's life.
The other question is, which relates to this, working for creative agencies in Japan often means to satisfy the client's request, even if you don't agree with it. How do you deal with this kind of situation? Obviously, for example, for an Italian agency that you don't agree with. Sorry, for a client you don't agree with.
Well, I think it's not even, the work is not even starting if you really don't agree with your clients. I mean, but you know, we're a strange example.
Yeah,
because
as I said before, when they call us,
they know
what to
yes.
expect. So it actually it happens a few times that they get something different from what they thought we could deliver.
Yeah.
So that's the important thing. That's the huge gift that Lorenzo gave us. Do what you are good to do. You know. So we didn't show something we are not. We show ourselves as we are. So when they call us, they know what we do. So yeah.
They know what they get.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've answered all the questions. Actually, there's another question, which was before all the others, which is, it is difficult to gain the confidence of the clients.
It is, I think, in a way, because it happens a lot of time that artists came from bad situations, people that stole their money, people that try to take advantage of situations. I mean, we're always very clear. We want always to make everybody comfortable working with us. And I think, as Leo said before, that we are so unique, but I don't want to say unique in a good way, that usually the people that really likes to work with us start building a bond with us. I mean, we have a bond with Jovanotti, we have a bond with Laura Pausini, we have a bond with Achille Lauro. And then there are some people that come and go, but I think trust is something crucial, because I can imagine if I were like an artist, and I wrote like an entire album and song and it's meaningful for me and it's part of my career. And in those times, just one record can be crucial for your career. And I give trust to a studio to say, okay, you're gonna do the visual part of this project, which I work on like for years. I need to trust you to do that. I need to have good energy vibes all around you to work with you. And I think it's crucial for us and for the artist. So yeah, it's hard, but I think once you gain it, it's very nice. There is a lot of satisfaction about it.
Okay, so 2020, this is a peculiar year, I mean, to say the least. It's a very difficult year for everyone, but maybe it also has some potential, I don't know, new source of inspiration that maybe we can all use. For yourself, how do you think this COVID situation is going to change the way you work, if it is going to change the way you work, and how?
Well, I think it already did change it. I mean, the main focus of the music business is the live business, live show business, and live shows are canceled for the year and everything is moved for in 2021. So there was a change. That means they had to rethink about the way to promote an artist, to promote new music, actually take money out of it. And it's not easy. They're still thinking about it. But I think, I mean, for us, it can be a crucial time for television that can demonstrate to still be relevant and the source of good and quality things, which is, I think, a very big challenge, because usually, I mean, at least here, television is like very popular in a way, so they need to look popular, to communicate in a popular way. But I think now is the moment where television should do the jump to say, listen, we're gonna have some popular content that you can feel comfortable watching it. At the same time, we can be edgy, we can be artistic, we can show you that we're not afraid of Netflix, Amazon Prime, or Hulu and everything there are around that have strong budget and strong visioned people, but they can do good things. And I think it can be crucial for our job, because I imagine we can do, I mean, like live performance for an artist in the TV. Leo can direct, I can style and creative direct, and then can be strong. You can attract like millions of viewers. So I think, I mean, spirituality is a big thing for me, at least, and for Leo. And I learned through the journey that I've been through that great difficulties always hide great potential. So I think it's what actually happened in our life. And when we had like huge problem to do work, it turned out to be maybe the most successful or the most satisfying. So I do think this is a uniquely great time to work and to rethink everything. And I think it's a great chance for music, for entertainment, and especially for fashion. It's going to be very hard for fashion because they're going to lose a lot of money in the first place. But I think it can be a revolution on how you present fashion and how to communicate fashion and to buy fashion. Because if you think about it, fashion that is famous to change every 6 months and be very always looking forward, actually is very looking back, because fashion shows are old, like 100 years, that we still present fashion in the same way. It's time to change. It's time to evolve, and it's time to really put the creative minds on work. Not only how you design like a piece of fabric, but just how you want to propose. And you're gonna go into the consumer home saying, listen, even if you're not going out as before, you're gonna need this outfit because it's gonna be crucial for your life. And yeah, it's gonna be a challenge, but it's gonna be so nice to see how it happens.
Perfect. Guys, thank you so much. When, as we were talking, I was writing down some of the keywords that were kept being repeated through our conversation. And these are quit, be rejected, think different, be yourself, culture, and give a message. I think, I mean, if we all dare to be ourselves and to give a message, then half of the job is done, I would say.
Yeah, totally. Yes.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for being with us, for sharing part of your life, both personal and professional, with us. I hope you have a fantastic day ahead of you. For us, it's already 7:15, so it's the day basically over. But hopefully tomorrow will be another day full of creativity for everybody.
Thank you so much, guys, for having us. And thank you for all the inspiration that Japan always gave us. And arigatou gozaimasu.
And please come see us as soon as you can. As soon as we can travel, come see us in Japan, in Tokyo. We wait for you.
Yeah, we will. Totally, yes.
Thank you so much. Ciao, guys.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.